Hi, in this video we're going to discuss grading increments. Grading increments is the amount in which the body grows per size, and it is that growth, that mathematical formula that we apply to the pattern. That is a grading increment. Now, grading increments vary from individuals' interpretation of the process. Also, they vary depending on the brand that you may engage with. This is why we find that sometimes we can wear a size 12, for example, from one store, but it won't fit in another. This also is dependent on the models that the brand use for the fit of their base size. So we're going to use the grading increments that I believe in here for this demonstration. This is a 5 centimetre increment for body girth growth. I have been using this process for over 20 years within industry and since my time in education. This is supported by the fact that the mannequins that I use in my professional practice are also graded with a 5 centimetre increment. These are purchased from K&L and they are a BSA model. Also, to support the theory behind my choice of my grading is that when we as females buy clothes such as our bras, which are a very close fitting garment that we rely on the fit being essential, we purchase these in sizes such as 34, 36, 38 and so on. This is a 2-inch incrementation, which is 5 centimetres. Same goes for the very traditional tailoring and menswear approach to sizing, where we buy trousers as 32, 34, 36 waist, for example, and jackets 40, 42 and so on. So it supports that 5 centimetre increment. So what I have here are 2 outline images of a female form. So to talk through the basic principles, I have drawn through some lines in preparation. So we have our across front, which is 12 centimetres down from the centre of the shoulder. We have our bust, which is through our fullest part. We have our waist, which is our narrowest point. There's a top hip and a hip. The hip here is through our fullest part, around over our buttocks as well. I'm going to do our wrist. We also have a knee, a hem and an ankle. So bearing this in mind from our conversations we've just had, our bust here, so this is round this part of the body. We all know where our bust is. That would be 5 centimetres per size. Our waist, again, here, would be 5 centimetres per size. So what this would give us, to make sure we all understand, this is our size 12, which is our base size. Then we would grade up to a 14. So the difference between the two in our bust, for example, say we had 50 centimetres here, for the 14 it would be 55. This would be for a total body circumference. And if we went down to a 10, this would be a 45. So there is 5 centimetres in between each stage of measurement. So this 5 centimetres would continue down for the top hip and for the fullest part of the hip, also down to our hem circumference of a garment would be 5 centimetres. For some smaller areas of grading, what we would have here for our wrist, for example, this would be a 6 millimetre circumference grade. Our knee would be a 1.2 centimetre circumference grade. Our ankle would be a 1.2 centimetre circumference grade. Our bicep would be a 1.4 centimetre circumference grade. For our across front, this is between sort of our armhole, our attached to body. This would grade across 1 centimetre per size. Our shoulder grade is 3 millimetres per size as a grade. Our front neck area is 0.8. So it's 8 millimetres per size. And then between the bust points of a garment, this would grade 1 centimetre. Right, I'm going to change the colour of my pencil now for a vertical measurement for you. So everything we've discussed so far has been circumferences around the body, but also when considering grading, we have to consider the vertical as well. So we have a measurement here from the shoulder to the waist is 1.2 centimetres. So I'm now going to put another image down for us. This is the back view of what we've just seen. Just make sure I get us all in view. There we are. Okay. So I just wanted to cover, obviously we are aware that still our waist, our hip areas and so on are still the 5 centimetre total circumference grade. But for clearer illustration here, I wanted to cover our upper thigh, which is 2.5 centimetres per size. As a reminder, we had our wrist on the front. That was 6 mil total per size. Extra here is our across back, which is 1 centimetre per size. And the across back for this grade is 13 centimetres down from the centre of the shoulder. Our shoulder grade is 3 mil, as we discussed on the front image. Our back neck is 0.5, so just 5 millimetres for our back neck. We also have the vertical length here to consider from the shoulder down to the waist. This is 0.3, so this is just 3 millimetres. The front length is obviously longer with our 1.2. We have more growth to consider with chest and bust areas. But one thing that remains constant for us when we are grading is our waist. When we look at garments, for example, as skirts, in other video tutorials that we'll have online, the waist is a constant, and they are sold, I'm sure you're aware, in lengths. So it's from the waist to the hemline, so the length doesn't alter either for a skirt. But when we do a bodice between sizes 12 and 14, for example, the length will alter as well as the circumference to compensate for the proportion of the grade. It is very important when we grade that we maintain proportion. So if we see the same garment on a size 10 or a size 18, proportionately they should look the same. They should end both in the waist or on the hip, wherever they are meant to be. If there are darts, they should finish at the same point. If we weren't to grade out or become wider at the darts, on a size 18, for example, they would look very close to the centre. Grading with increments such as this will only take us so far. So we could do a size range from maybe 8 to 18, possibly 20. But what I would suggest when you get to those sizes, that you refit your size 18 as a new base size and amend any sort of fit issues you might see, and then start the grade from afresh at this point and move forward through the other size. You can apply these increments through, but you have to refit a new base size. It will not take you from size 0 up to size 32, for example. There are stages and progressions within which the body grows, changes, shifts, whichever adjective we want to apply to it. So there will be points along that continuum that we will need to refit and assess to ensure our grading increments are proportionately changing the size of our garment correctly.